Comparing fractions with a common numerator. Your learning target today is I can use models to compare two fractions with a common numerator, and you'll know you're successful when you can compare fractions that have the same numerator but a different denominator. Today we're going to be comparing fractions, and when we're doing that, we're going to be seeing fractions that all have a common numerator. So that means all of the fractions that we're going to have today are going to have the same top number. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to compare the fractions 1/3, 1/6, and 1/12. What do you notice about all three of those fractions? Well, the numerator's the same, right? It's all 1. And the denominators are different. So we're going to see how fractions look when the numerators are the same, but the denominators are different. Let's take a look. So these are my three fractions, 1/3, 1/6, and 1/12. And I want you to notice how each piece looks. So let's look at 1/3. Our denominator is a 1, just like in all the other fractions. And one piece of that fraction would be this large piece right here, right? Now, if I was a perfect drawer, we would all know that each of my pieces would be all exactly the same, right? But I am not a perfect drawer. I did my best, and that's all I can do. But that is essentially 1/3, right? This would be 1/3. We know this is 1/3, and then that's 1/3. Let's look at that pink piece, and let's take a look at the pink piece that I'm going to have for 1/6. So if this was a pizza, this would be my slice. And so that looks like a normal sized slice, right? That's 1/6. But take a look at the 1/3 and 1/6. Which one would you rather have? 1/3 is obviously the bigger piece and 1/6 is smaller. So I would rather have the 1/3, right? Wouldn't you? And so 1/3 is larger than 1/6. Even though the numerators are the same, we have a 1 and we have a 1 on the top of each fraction, but 1/3 is clearly the bigger one. So let's take a look at 1/12. Now I'm going to color in one of these pink, and that is 1/12 because there are 12 pieces altogether, right? That means there's 12 slices altogether. There were 6 slices altogether in the middle one, and there were 3 slices altogether in that one. Now if I take a look at 1/6 and 1/12, which one would you rather have this time? The 1/6 of the slice of pizza looks like it would be bigger, right? And that is correct. 1/12 is even skinnier or smaller. So I would rather have the 1/6 out of those two choices. 1/6 is greater than 1/12. And what if I looked at 1/3 and 1/12? Which one, of course, would you rather have? The 1/12 or the 1/3? Well, if I looked at 1/3, even though 3 for the denominator seems like it would be smaller, and 12 seems like it would be bigger, because I cut my pizza in more slices, I would rather have the 1/3 because 1/3 is larger. So 1/12 is less than 1/3. So I hope you noticed that the bigger my denominator is, the smaller the piece. So think of that as a rule of fractions, and that will help you in seeing that even though the numerator was the same, since the denominator was larger, the piece got smaller. And when the denominator was smaller, my piece got bigger. Remember, your learning target today is I can use models to compare two fractions with a common numerator. And you'll know you're successful when you can compare fractions that have the same numerator but a different denominator.